everyone, Lawrence here with another episode of Bullshit. So I went to a Danny Elfman concert a couple of days ago. It was just a dream come true. That sounds lame, but I'm that kind of nerd, kind of glommed onto Danny Elfman pretty early. He played a ton of his old stuff, a lot of old Oingo Boingo tracks, a lot of deep cuts. So a lot of those songs were things that I never thought I'd get to hear live. So dream come true, really. I'm glad he decided to perform that music. Honestly, like my real dream of all time is to mosh to Oingo Boingo, like classic rock Oingo Boingo. I don't think that's ever going to happen, especially because people that like that music are getting old like myself. Plus he's getting old, so who knows? But it would be really nice to just, throw some elbows to some old Oingo Boingo. He also played a lot of his new stuff from his solo Big Mess album, which I really recommend. If you're into some pretty heady and intense sort of prog industrial, that's kind of where it is. It's a very heavy sound, and I'm all about it. And he was going pretty prog near the end of his Oingo Boingo run in the mid-90s, so it's not surprising to see he's got even further off that deep end. I really like it, but, it's like very mathy. It's very, it's for people who get into the dorkier side of music, not surprisingly. I think accordingly, a lot of the visuals that he showed during those new songs used a lot of very unnerving AI-generated video. One in particular was just nothing but sort of H.R. Geiger-esque muscles and teeth and bones and sinews, and it was just like a wall of meat that was constantly bubbling with eyes and skulls sort of popping out and then fading back into these very sort of muscular striation patterns. Very creepy, very unnerving, but also very, very arresting and interesting. It's fascinating to see sort of form and shape kind of emerge out of chaos and then sort of fade back into it. Watching it actually unlocked a sense memory of mine of just being really, really young, being a baby, basically. I either remember this or my brain's lying to me and telling myself that I remember this, but I remember just being assaulted by sensory input, lights and sounds that my brain just could not handle yet, did not know how to process. So it was just sensory information with no attached meaning. Every so often I'd see a shape that would connect with meaning, something that I had learned already, somebody's face, a favorite toy, a song that I remembered, but then it would just sort of fade back into this constant noise, just like a mosaic of shapes and sounds surrounding me, a kaleidoscope of chaos. It's really similar to watching these AI generated videos, which is really fitting considering AI generated video is the visual representation of computers trying to assign meaning to the shapes that they see in images. Now, the meaning is coming from us. It's coming from humans. We're teaching AI what shapes are or what meaningful shapes are. But it's just interesting to see the roiling sort of digital synapses coming up with chaotic shapes, finding meaning in that chaos, and then it drifting back out to the void again. So very, very cool. The fun part of watching videos like that is trying to return, I think, to that childlike state where you sort of decouple your brain from the relationships it's already formed, and then you can kind of forge new ones as the AI is sort of grasping for meaning in this void of colors and shapes. Childlike brain, it's something that I think a lot of adults try to return to. I don't really mean returning to a childlike brain in an innocence kind of way. I mean like in a 1 IQ kind of way. I think that's why people maybe like going under the influence and then watching media or being exposed to things. It's because if you sort of block off the connections your brain has already made, then your brain might find new ones. And then you have original thoughts, which become harder to find the older you get, and the sort of pathways through your brain get more and more well-worn. So interesting experience, top-notch concert, definitely one I'll remember for a long time. This week on the stream, Spooktober is over, but that doesn't mean I'm done playing spooky games because I picked up a lot that I'm really excited to keep on with. However, I don't know if you can kind of tell, I have a lot of PC parts on the table back there because I'm going to be doing a new PC build soon. Processor I have is just way too hot, and it's just not efficient for gaming. I got one of those like mega AMD Threadrippers, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I've had to underclock it to get it to perform reliably because it just kept overheating and throttling. So no more. I'm going to a more contained gamer Intel with fewer and faster cores. And then I'm also putting this monstrous heatsink on it. 1 second. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this massive thing. I'm excited because I'm going back all to air cooling. So this, big ass fans, nothing but the calm whoosh of cooling air. The only problem is it did not come with a mounting kit that I need for the specific socket that I have. So I have all my parts. I just have to wait like a week and a half for a replacement mounting kit to come from Europe. Now, why did I bring that up? Because since I'm switching motherboards and processors, I can feel it in my bones. It's time to reinstall Windows. Things are just getting a little chunky. But I do have some games installed that are not going to be very easy to set up on a new Windows install. So I want to beat them before I reinstall Windows. So that means this week, I'm going to be mainlining Fallout New Vegas because I have a million mods on that. I don't want to have to mess with trying to reinstall all of those perfectly to get my save files working. So Fallout New Vegas and then 2018 God of War. I have a Give Me God of War playthrough. I want to finish that, beat all the Valkyries before God of War Ragnarok comes out next week. So those are going to be my focuses right now. There's also also Breath of the Wild. I have that working on Cemu, and it's beautiful. And I really don't want to have to set up Cemu again, but I think it's easier than it used to be now. So maybe it's not as scary. I'm just terrified that I'm going to set it all up and drop my save file in there and it just won't work. So I'm scared about that. That's kind of in the back of my mind. So brand new speedy PC in the next couple of weeks and a lot of hot games. And I'm excited to finish up New Vegas. It's been too long. How come I haven't beaten that yet? I don't know. I'm on Honest Hearts now. So I'm plugging through the DLCs and then I'll finish the campaign proper. That's what I got coming up this week. I hope to see you on the stream or anywhere across the internet. And if I don't, you have a great week. Catch you next time.